How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, an animated visual book summary by Alexander Sandalis. Part 2. 6 Ways to Make People Like You. Chapter 3. If you don't do this, you are headed for trouble. Dale Carnegie was interviewing Jim Farley. Jim Farley was one of the first Irish Catholic politicians in American history to achieve success on the national level, serving as chairman of the New York State Democratic Committee. Great politician, is what I'm trying to say in other words. He was being interviewed by Carnegie. Carnegie said, "I understand you can tell 10,000 people by their first names." He said, "No, you're wrong. I can tell 50,000 by their first names." Now this was one of James Farley's biggest strengths. You know how many times we get introduced to a stranger, we talk for a few minutes, we talk for an hour maybe, and we don't even remember their name by the time we say goodbye. Everybody's done that. And then you hear, "Oh, I'm bad with names." You ain't bad with names, you just don't make the effort to try and remember their name. And I'm someone who's done that too. I have not made the effort many times. But recognize that you ain't bad with names. No one's bad with names unless you're a fish, because fish have really bad memory. They're also fish. So what Jim Farley did was, whenever he met someone new, he found out their complete name, some facts about their family, some little important details, and he fixed all these facts in their mind and kind of painted a picture of the person. He was basically using a mnemonic. Mnemonic is a memory tactic to help him remember this person. Even if it was years later, this man would be able to shake their hand, remember, put the pieces together, and say, "Hello, insert name." People react with kind of shock. Because what Jim discovered was that, here's the thing about people. The average person is more interested in his or her own name than all the names on the earth put together. Because it's our name. It's the thing that we've had from birth. Remembering a name is really a subtle and very effective, easy compliment. That's why people appreciate it so much. When you fly economy class somewhere, take your seat. Okay, thank you. Your seat's over in this aisle. Okay, thank you. But if you ever flown business or first class, these people will remember your name. They will, "Okay, Mr. Sandalis, your seat is over here." "Okay, sir." They won't say sir or ma'am. They'll say, Mr. or Mrs., your name. "Would you like something?" And everybody perks up. If you ever go from economy to business, you're kind of like, "Oh, that's, you know my name?" "Oh." You don't really say that, but you kind of think it like, "Oh, they said my name. It's kind of official in here." And that's one of the little nuances is what separates those two classes from each other. So, if I'm talking to a flight attendant, if I'm talking to a waiter, if I'm talking to anybody in the service industry where you don't have to do that, where it's not compulsory for you to remember somebody's name, the fact that if you do remember somebody's name, you can be guaranteed you're either one, gonna get more tips if you live in America, or two, that person's just gonna like you more. That person's gonna come to you to ask for your service more often. Guarantee you. Napoleon, the third emperor of France, in spite of all his responsibilities as an emperor, he was able to remember pretty much the name of everyone he met. And how did he do this? Well, if he didn't hear the name distinctively, which we often don't do, but we brush past, he said the phrase, "So sorry, I didn't get that name clearly." That's so simple. You get the person to repeat it by just saying, "Oh, I didn't hear it clearly." And then if it was a difficult, unusual name, he simply would ask, "How is it spelled?" If you get someone to spell your name, you're going to remember it much easily. And if the person was of someone importance, I think pretty much everyone is someone of importance because everyone can have influence on your life. He would take out a pen and pad, write their name down, maybe something that is associated with them, like something they're wearing, something distinctive about them. He would try and remember it, tear up the piece of paper, and then it would be in his memory. Now, something that I took from this myself, after I read this is what I implemented. Every time I'd meet someone new or a customer in my previous job, I worked in a customer-facing role, I would try and remember their names, but I knew I couldn't get it off the top of my head as my memory didn't work like that. So I played on my strengths, and I figured out, okay, let me write these down in my phone. Let me put all these names down in my phone of everybody, even if it's just one person I might see every month, and a distinctive character. So when, "Oh shit, she just walked in, he just walked in. I can't remember the name, but let me look at my phone real quick and say hello." make the person feel so much wanted, especially in the customer facing role. You're trying to make a business more money, you're trying to make your business more money. We should be aware of the magic contained in a name and realize that this single item is wholly and completely owned by the person with whom we are dealing with and nobody else. That's why it's so significant. The information we're imparting or the request we are making takes on a special importance when we approach the situation with the name of the individual. Just when you approach somebody, even if it's a stranger and they're wearing a name tag, if you just introduce yourself or themselves with their name, say, excuse me, Jane, excuse me, Jessica, excuse me, Dave, their attention is going to be heightened because you said their name instead of saying sir or ma'am or not even saying that. Their attention is going to be heightened with their own name. Principle 3. Remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. If you've made it this far through the video to the end, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you know. It's really important to me that you follow me on social media, but only if you actually intend on watching and or reading the content I produce. Do not subscribe just because you think I'm okay. Hold yourself to high standards to only learn from those you think you can attain great value from.